Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Blanchard, and this is my Learning Piano series. This is week 21, where I'm continuing to progress on Bach's Prelude in C major. At the end of this week, I gotta say, I felt like I had finally done it. I've been practicing this piece almost every single day, probably at least for 30 minutes to an hour, trying to get it right. I would play slow, I would play fast, I would try and not think, but I gotta say, when you're recording yourself, there's a pressure you get. It's like a performance pressure you get all the way at the very end. And I would get all the way to the very end and just make one tiny mistake. That happened over and over and over again. It took me a while to get through, and I'm not sure I'm fully through it yet, but you're going to see my progress next up, and then I'm going to show you the progress it took me to get to that point. So enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to continue watching my progress, and I'll see you next week. That one, I gotta tell you, it took me a long time to get right. I tried all different types of practice techniques. I practiced slow, I practiced fast, I practiced recording myself every single time, just hoping that I would get it right sometimes. But I found that I would always make mistakes right at the very end, small mistakes, small subtle mistakes I would never make any other time. And I realized over time the problem was that I was just feeling so much pressure and feeling so much tension. And I found that when I really got lost in the music and started thinking less, I actually performed better. And that is exceptionally difficult for me. The only way I can get over that in practice is just by playing as fast as I can, which is obviously not a great practice technique, but it worked in helping me just process through the piece and get through it. So I'm going to show you some highlights of my practice this week to remind you of the work it takes to get to where I'm at right now, which is by far from perfect, but it's closer than I've ever been. So enjoy watching the path it took me to get there. I'm going to continue practicing this piece until I'm playing it on a grand piano. And there's other pieces I'm practicing right now, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. I'll emphasize that that was only a small sampling of my practice this week. I probably practiced more this week in week 21 than I've practiced in any of the other weeks in learning piano. Mostly because I'm finally getting to a point where I can play real music. And playing that piece just brings out and makes you feel, at least when you're playing it, emotions, and I kind of get lost in it. And that feeling is just addicting, I'll say. I'm continuing to work on a few other pieces, Arabesque, and also the Sick Doll. So I'm going to continue practicing those and try to compile some of my practice videos in a final version in the videos the next couple weeks. Other than that, I'm going to continue practicing Prelude, hopefully play it on an acoustic piano sometime soon and share that, and my final version of the piece in kind of a standalone video. But thanks for watching my progress this week. I'll catch you next week on week 22.